Okay, welcome. My name is Olu Jabari, and this is the first podcast of Just Kicking It. Just want to let you know that Just Kicking It came out of a scenario where we were training with children and youth and families, and we were trying to find a way to keep families together. So we came up with the word just, and somebody said, what about kicking it? We put it together to make it be called Just Kicking It. So again, it is 2023, December. And we decided last year that we wanted to start off this podcast show before the new year. So Just Kicking It is going to be a podcast show about African martial artists first, and then we'll go into the BIPOC community, and BIPOC means Black Indigenous People of Color. So that's all people of color, whether you're black, green, blue, white, we don't care, but we're going to start with African martial arts because we know that martial arts started in Africa. Although we're doing that, my first guest today, and he's going to introduce himself, has been around for quite a while, and I've had the pleasure of knowing him, training at his dojo, judging some of his students, and sitting side by side, just really taking it all in. So it's my pleasure to have you on the show, Just Kicking It. Again, my name is Olu Jabari, OJ for short, and we hope you enjoyed the show. It'll be about a 20 to 30-minute segment, and what we're going to do, we just going to kick it. So again, I'm going to let our guest introduce himself, and then we'll bring in some questions and answers. And we want this to be live. This is a live show. Everything is raw, and it's an opportunity for us to tell our story as African Americans, right?
That's right.
Not to say that we don't want to talk about or talk to anybody else that is another color, but we're going to start with the first letter in the alphabet, which is A, which means Africa to me. And no disrespect to any martial artists. But we're going to start with us, and we're definitely going to include you. So I'm going to let my guest introduce himself, and then we'll have some questions. Give us a little background about you, first, last name, kind of where you grew up, and then we'll get into some questions, okay?
Okay. My name is Ken Denson of Ken's Karate Academy in East Point. I've been doing karate about since 1968.
Wow.
The very first time I seen karate in my eyes was from a guy named Walter King, Grand Master Walter King.
Familiar.
I seen him walking up the street, and I see people getting out of his way. And I say, well, why is they moving out his way? And his student was sitting next to me. He said, oh, that's my karate teacher, Walter King.
Okay.
So my very first karate instructor was Charles Davis. He was just a couple of years older than me. We were little snot-nosed kids, you know. And so that's how I got off into karate. And karate is the one thing that's always been there for me, and I never left karate. It made me stronger than I ever thought I could ever be. So I just stuck with karate, and here I am today. You know, I was, enjoying it. I'm living the best life I ever lived through karate.
So some 50 years later or so, you're still kicking it. And that's why we call the show Just Kicking It. Now let's get into the sauce of the karate. Your background is very extensive in the martial arts, and it goes back to, I don't want to say my Grand Master instructor, which is Marvis Cofield, which was going to be our very first show, but he did have some things planned, but he will be on the show. Let's talk about, how you came up, not just in the martial arts, but let's talk about some of those folks that you had an opportunity to be in the ring with. People that you talked to me about some years ago that who set, they kind of set the pace for you, and you watched them and you grew up, but then you became this, and we'll get into this part, you became this superstar in regards to your fighting, losing maybe even this many fights, if that many, but people know you from your fighting, they know you from your wisdom, and they never question your teaching. So let's get into the sauce about, how you grew up and how was it for you, coming up in a martial arts, what did you learn as a teenager? Let's start with the teenager.
What I learned as a teenager, it was to just be, you had to be strong. I remember my first fight at post-junior high. Post-junior high, I had this little girl, I called her my girlfriend. I say, so the guys didn't like me going to the school because I ain't gonna say I was all right looking, and so they say, but we're gonna beat him up the next day. And this girl told me, she say, they gonna beat you up, watch, they gonna beat you up the next day. She told me. So that night I got up and they was tearing down the houses over there. So I went and got a bunch of red bricks, and I put them on my pad from school. So they tried to chase me, and when they chased me, I kept getting these bricks. They were like, "Where's he getting these bricks from?" You know. So that was my karate made me be a thinker.
Yes, sir.
You know, I didn't just do things off of instinct.
Yeah.
You know, so I met this one guy. He see me doing karate. He said, "I'm gonna train with you." I said, "Okay." We training together, and he said, "You know, I got a cousin that's in karate." And I say, "Yeah, who?" You know, because I thought I was the baddest guy ever anyway.
Right.
He say, "His name Larry Green." I say, "Larry Green?" I say, "You gonna introduce me to him?" He said, "Yeah, I introduce you to him." So he introduced me to Larry Green. And Larry Green was training at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. And I went down there, and Larry said he'd take me on. Larry never charged me a dime. But Larry taught me everything I know about karate. You kind of say I was a natural, but I was like big-headed, you know, because I thought I knew everything.
Gotcha.
Really, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what an upward block was. I didn't know what a downward block was. I didn't know the names. I know how to do them. So Larry taught me all the lingo to karate. And when Larry told me, he said, "Man, you're gonna be good." He said, "You're gonna be really good." And I was like, "Yeah, I ain't gonna never be good as you." And so we would fight all the time. Me and Larry would fight all the time, and he made me really, really good, you know. So I started getting off in the tournaments. When I got off into the tournaments, it took me like 30 fights to even place. 30 tournaments to even place in a tournament. And that was third place when I first won my very first tournament. And so I say that to tell everybody, you gotta be patient. If you stick with it, you're gonna get it. You know, you're gonna lose a lot. Back then, you was losing a lot because we was fighting like, in a tournament, we might for first place, you might be fighting 15 guys just to even get to first place. The tournaments was that big back then. And then I started making a name for myself, so I wanted to stay a red belt forever because I was winning all the time. But the Grand Masters, they wouldn't let me stay a red belt. They said, "No, you can't fight it here, it's no red belt, you gotta be a black belt." And I said, ain't nobody promote me to black. They said, "Well, you ain't gonna fight it here, not being no red belt." So I gave myself my first black belt.
Okay.
Because Larry had started going to, he had started working at General Motors. And so when I started fighting, I started winning in black belts. I really was a black belt a long time ago. I started winning in the black belt class, everything. Everybody I fought, I beat everybody. Then I fought guys like Tony Montgomery, Richard Prowder, Dino Kane. I see Danny Dixon. Who else? Quinn Hale, Kenny Comer. All these are real, real rough guys. They were real rough guys, you know. But Danny Dixon was the one guy that taught me the game of karate, how you move and how you. When a guy can overpower you, rush him first, and you know, look at the way the guy's foot is. If it's too far in the back, that means he can only throw this kick, or it's too far in the front, he can only throw that kick. Danny Dixon taught me how to fight in karate. Okay. You know, but I at the time Bruce Lee was on the scene, but I met guys. This is just my opinion. I met black guys way better than Bruce Lee. Way better. You know, a lot of people won't admit to that being real, but it is real. Okay. You know, like they got a guy named Kevin Gribble, and I've never seen anybody like him before or since. He was he's going to be on your Feast Satellite.
Yes, sir.
He was the best fighter I ever saw. Okay. You know, but he said, "Ken, why I could never beat you?" I said, "Because you had too much respect for me." He had too much respect for me, and today we like brothers. And he would always want to fight me like we would be in tournaments. Right. But I would fight him like we was in the street. That's the only way I could beat him. I couldn't beat him just straight up doing karate. I would do dirty things or whatever, you know, kick his leg and, you know. throw him off balance. But he was fighting me like, oh, good kick, Ken. That's right, right. And I said, yeah, that's why you lost, But, I had a real good upcoming in karate, something that I would cherish the rest of my life,
And I heard you mention some names. Richard Plowden. We all know Richard Plowden is a multi-time world champion over and over, such as yourself. And you talked about the Tonys, and you talked about the other, Danny Dixon.
Danny Dixon.
I had the pleasure of judging him sometimes in his fights and watching his smoothness, right? Not only his smoothness, but his concern for his fighters.
Yeah.
He would fight you. And here's this guy, and he'll be on the show too. He would fight you and then come over and make sure you're okay. Like what? And then he'd say, the fight ain't over. So
right.
Just listening to you, I want to put the focus back on you because this is your day. And when we talk about black martial artists, a lot of folks would say, and this, I don't know if this happened to you before, oh, you go to karate school? What Chinese school or Korean school you go to?
Yeah.
Because they think you had to go to like a Japanese school or something to learn karate. So tell me how that was for you when people found out that you were a black martial artist. Like I said, in high school, in the college days, and you win in all these tournaments, and then you show up at maybe one of these Ishin-Ryu karate tournaments or a world classic where it's more so geared towards like Taekwondo and all these different Asian perspectives, and then you're out there on the scene. How did you fit in?
Oh, I fit in real good because I let my fighting do my talking.
Okay.
When I was fighting, me, Danny, and Richard was fighting. We were like the top ones at that time. So you had the Koreans. They was like bullies. They was like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, and and in this tournament, I didn't stick to none of their rules. Okay. So they want you couldn't kick below the waist and all that stuff at the Korean tournaments and the Japanese tournaments. You couldn't hit too hard, and I was like, yeah, okay. Everything they said I didn't do. I hit you hard, I kick below the waist. I'm only gonna get a warning. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But most of my fights my wins came from I hit too hard. I didn't know how to hold back once I start. They would almost have to pull me off the guy. Then I had this attitude that if you kick me, you hurt me, I'm gonna try to send you to the hospital. And that was not the right thing.
Right, sure.
But now, as I look back and I get older, it wasn't the right thing. But when you're young, you don't care. But that's what I would say. If you kick me hard, I'm gonna send you to the hospital. I don't even care if I lose. I'm gonna hit you in your head. But like I say now, as I look back, I don't even teach that way. And I didn't nobody teach me that way. That was the way of the street to me.
Yes, sir.
It's like how I met my wife, moving up a little bit. When I first met her, she said, you don't look like you know no karate. And I said, I know karate. She said, yeah, right. Well, I'm going to join your school. Because she had took karate before. And so when she joined the school, we started doing karate. After a week, she said, you know karate for real. I said, I ain't going to lie to you about doing karate. Right. So she just not too long got her black belt. But when she talked to the old guys and they all tell him, Kevin to come to my school, he come all the way from Las Vegas, come up here to come to my school to talk to my students. And Danny comes to the school, and they tell the students how I used to fight. Richard, he tell them how I used to fight and things like that. I was a really good fighter, but like right now, back then you didn't have safety kick and safety punch. You had a mouthpiece and you had a cup, and I can remember fighting back then. Me and Danny had this old joke if somebody get hurt real bad. It's, just little kid jokes. We say, just roll him on off to the side, because we want to get all on the floor, And I went down to Grand Master Cofield, beautiful, beautiful person. I went down to his dojo, and some of the guys from back then used to see me fight. Steven Jackson and I forgot the other brother's name. They were talking.
Cortez Franklin.
Yeah.
And what's the other brother? Ernest Tooks.
Right. These guys talking about me, and I'm like, who is y'all talking about? They talking about me like I was left a legacy or something. And I started saying, yeah, I know I'm still alive, right? You know, but they was talking about me, and they was telling my students about me, and I was like, yeah, I was a good fighter, but I didn't think I was just fighting. That's all I had. I was a fighter. I could do that real good.
Yes, sir.
You know, and fighting, being a good fighter has kept me alive. You know, and I had took it to another level because I had gotten into a lot of trouble.
Okay.
But I had to learn I thought I knew how to fight, but I didn't. I knew how to do karate. I didn't know how to fight. All them years, I thought I knew how to fight. And it's this guy named William Holt. He told me, he said, if you keep your feet on the ground, he say, you cannot touch me with your hands. I was like, that's impossible. I'm a world champion in karate. It's impossible not to hit you. I kept my feet on the ground. I couldn't hit him. I couldn't even touch him. But at the time, I didn't know he was #1 in the world boxing, you know. So he taught me everything he knew.
I like that.
Everything he know about boxing. I got really, really, really good at it. And so I took the boxing and that attitude and put it together. And then my karate just
Shout out to church.
like wings. It had wings.
Yeah.
You know, and I teach that way, you know. Then I took up some Aikido. I took up some Ishiru. I took up some Goju-Ryu from different guys and stuff like that. And I put it all together in this Ken's Karate Academy, you know. But back in the day, they had some really good. That guy Richard Prowder, man, was unbelievable, you know. And Danny, Richard, Kevin, Tony Montgomery, Jamie, which is Kalinde.
Yes, sir.
I didn't get a chance to see your Grand Master fight in a tournament, but I fought him to get his black belt.
Thank you.
I was a red belt, and of course he beat me up, you know, and easily, you know. The brother Walter King was just, you know, he was unbelievable.
Yes.
You know. But Walter King, my experience with Walter King was, I tell Walter King this, he can't remember it. I remember because I did it. And I remember Larry called a black belt tournament down at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. All these black belts was down there. And Walter King was standing next to me. And Larry, but this is my idol.
Okay.
I wouldn't even be in karate if it weren't for him. So I'm looking at him like, you know, I'm like, why are you looking at me like that? I'm looking at him because he is my idol.
Yes, sir.
And so, but I was untrained as a person to have respect. And so they said, whoever you're standing next to, that's who you got to fight. And so Walter King was standing next to me. But Kevin Gribble say that when Larry said that, everybody looked at me and said, they was going the other way, getting away, because I was the #1 fighter at the time.
Okay.
But Walter King, he didn't care. He didn't care about me. He didn't care about nothing because he was from the street, you know. So we square off, and I'm thinking he gonna do something fantastic. I said, oh, he know he finna probably try to sweep me in. And so it was a water fountain at the shrine. It's leaking water. And so Walter King walked up, and I square off with him. I said, yeah. And he do a jump front kick and kick me in my face. The first jump kick you learn.
Wow.
He went back to the basics, and I slipped on the water.
Oh, wow.
And I said, and when I slipped, everybody said, "Ooh," you know, because Walter King just kicked the #1 fighter, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna beat you up. I beat Walter King up, but when I say that, it's the respect that I have for him, the love I have for him,
Gotcha.
and I teach my students, don't do dumb stuff like that.
Sure.
You know, you're supposed to always respect your elders. You're supposed to, but when you don't have nobody teaching you how to respect your elders, you do dumb stuff.
Yes, sir.
You know, now what if he would have turned it up a notch on me?
Could have.
He could have.
Yeah.
You know, and he could easily have, but he didn't.
Good.
He just said, okay, go ahead, little kid, you know, because that's what I was, a little kid,
At
and
that
not
point.
understand. Yeah. But that was my basic upcoming in karate. I learned how to be respectful when I got up under men that know how to teach me how to be respectful. But as a kid, just coming up in karate, I didn't have no respect for nobody, you know. But I learned how to. I had respect for them guys I fought, like Danny, Richard, and me and Richard. We never fought in a tournament. We always fight at a dojo. I went down to his dojo when it was on. Me and him talked about it not too long ago. He said, "Yeah, man, that was a long time ago. It was on Plymouth, right off of Southfield. He had a little dojo down there. Me and Danny used to fight all the time." But I didn't start winning tournaments until I beat Danny Dixon. And I got disqualified in that fight because I had hit him too hard. And Danny, to this day, he'll tell everybody, ain't nobody ever hit him as hard as I hit him. You know, and I say, yes, it is. He said, who? I said, your mama hit you harder than I hit you. So,
I like that.
He say, yeah, you're right, you know.
Yeah.
But Danny Dixon was just a class act.
Okay.
He was a class act. He was my to this very day, he's still my idol. You know, him and Kevin Gribble, you know, them guys were just unbelievable. Tony Montgomery fought for the middleweight, the lightweight championship of the world in boxing, and lost to, I think it was Milt McCory.
Okay.
Yeah, he got disqualified. Okay. But Tony is, I'm gonna have him on here.
Okay.
It's really good guys, really good guys.
Well, that's good. And we want to make sure we capture all of the martial artists that we can, because we have to tell our story, and nobody's going to tell it like us. I like the fact that you threw your wife in there and your family, because that's where I was going to go next. We got about 8 or 9 minutes left. I just want to make sure that your story is being told the way you want it to be told. And from an African martial artist perspective, we acknowledge the fact that we have to understand that when we say martial arts, that we're not just talking about kicks and punches, right?
That's
we're
right.
talking about a way of life skills, right? And this is something now that we can move forward and talk about Ken's Karate Academy. Out of all that you've done over the last 40, 50 some odd years, you know, as you said, you were in school, you were the knucklehead, you went to high school, you thought you knew something. You started getting in tournaments. You didn't win tournaments till like that. You said you fought about 30 tournaments or more. And you started learning some lessons about, right? Because a lot of people today, they think they train and they want to fight and they think they're going to get out there, yeah, I'm ready, and you know, calm down, right?
Don't work like that.
But they don't want to listen. So I'm glad that you, as a world champion, as a #1 fighter in the world on a circuit, that you came in and said that, hey, it took me almost 30 fights or more just to come in 3rd place, right? So a kid today, you know, he fights, he loses the first tournament, they want to quit. So we have to preach this to the parents, is that it's not that the kids want to quit, it's you who want to quit, right?
Don't want them to get hurt.
Don't want them to get hurt. But I always tell the scenario, if those kids learn martial arts, if they use this, they won't have to use these.
That's right.
Right? Because the world of martial arts goes through your mind, not through your hands. This tells this what to do. So at Ken's Karate Academy, let's move forward. You have a studio, East Point, Michigan, probably one of the only ones out there.
It is.
It's African-American owned. It's been that way for a while. You have some phenomenal, not only fighters, but I had the chance to see some of your testing online yesterday on Facebook. You had some people test. And you've got some great instructors that you're bringing up that is part of your team. Talk about Ken's Karate Academy and how you see that moving forward in your legacy, right? Because that's part of your legacy.
Right. I always say that it's my legacy because I don't have no biological. So this is my biological.
Got you.
And so I have to do it the right way.
Okay.
And you don't want your child to be like you want your child to be better than you. So I want this dojo to be better than the dojos that I came up in, you know? And so, yeah, I have some really good black belts, some really good people, but I think our success, and I say our because it's not just mine, it's a village just like the Kibalon.
Yes, sir.
And just like Jabari's Academy. It's a village. And what I try to do is, as soon as people come, I tell them this is a family you joining. We got your back. We're gonna be there for you. It's like a sister. She getting ready to go to court. We going down there with her. You know?
Like that.
And so we don't just apply it to just get your money and then you leave. No, we with you. When you go out that door, we walking with you, got a whole family behind you. So what I try to do is let everybody know that only thing I do is kick and punch. That's all I do. I say, but my wife run the business.
I like that.
Yeah, I say, because I can't do both things.
Yes, sir.
But at the same time, I tell everybody that if you never do what I teach you, because it is very vicious, because I done it. If you never do it, then I taught you the right way. But if you do it, you're gonna know what to do.
Gotcha.
You know, because I'm gonna teach you all the skills on why not to use it. You know, what's the legal penalty behind it? What's the spiritual penalty behind it? Because I regret every time I used it, to this very day. Every time I used it to stop somebody from hurting me, I regret it. So I hope that the kids, and, you know, kids like to have fun. That's our success with the kids. They like to have fun. And I teach it where you have fun. And another thing kids like to do, kids like to hurt other kids. So I teach them how to, if you catch him, you're going to be to kick him in the back of the head. But he not knowing that I done put him too far to catch him.
I got you.
You see what I'm saying? So they say, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to kick you in the back of the head. You know.
Right.
But the fastest guy be at the very end. He ain't going to never run up on and catch anybody and kick anybody in the head, you know. But that's what Larry used to do to us. He used to make it where we could jump and kick and try to catch the next guy. So I brought the same things that Larry gave me. I'm using them in my dojo. Larry Green gave me, I'm using in my dojo. Cofield, what he has given me toward helping me with the dojo is priceless. It's priceless. He's always been about the community. As you know, the keeper line could be anywhere, in a brand new building, anywhere. And so, but he kept it in the community. And that's what I want to do. I want to keep it in the community. I'm getting certain things from people. The way you run your dojo.
Yes, sir.
I'm coming over here, I'm stealing. Yeah, yeah, take that back, baby. Hey, baby, we got to do this there, you know.
Sure.
But it's not stealing, it's just taking in that sense.
That's it.
It's seeing something that you like, that you say, oh, that'll work for our dojo.
Absolutely.
You know, and so with what I have done with karate, and even with my black belts, I told them that it's impossible to me. It's impossible to get a black belt if you're not humble. It's impossible. If you don't have that trait or what it means to be humble, you can't get a black belt from Grand Master Ken. He ain't gonna give it to you. And it's not all about the karate aspect. It's about the spirituality, seeing how good this person is, because that's part of karate. You gotta be good. You gotta be good in order to really, really get a black belt. You can't be, although it has happened, but you can't be a person that just evil. You know, it's like I had got out of karate for a while, for like 5 years. And it's this guy named DeAndre X. He saw me training. He said, Ken, please. I wouldn't train nobody. I was just doing karate. I was being selfish. And he said, Ken, please train me. I said, man, I ain't gonna train. I'm not gonna do it. And then he said, you know that's a gift you got. I said, man, I got a love-hate relationship with karate. I said, because I couldn't do it the way I want to because of the situation I put myself in.
Sure.
And so he said, how can you hate something that God gave you as a gift? And I was like, wow, I had never heard nothing like that before. So I said, okay, man, I'm gonna train. Just that simple, the light bulb came on in my head. But me being so disrespectful and hoard my own karate, he told me, so I'm gonna be around here tomorrow to get you to teach. I say, okay, yeah, come on. So I seen him coming, so I played like I was asleep. I'm telling you, for 3 hours. And I turned over, he was still standing there.
Wow.
That's how I got back into karate. I said, if you're disciplined enough to stand there for 3 hours, I'm gonna teach you karate. And I never, ever seen this guy smile. He was like this here, stone face. All the time. I never seen him smile until he started doing karate. He wouldn't just smile, he was laughing. Come on, man, let's try this, you know. And then after we get finished doing karate, you know what he did?
Back to it.
Back to the stone face.
Change this
Yeah,
world.
let everybody know, don't mess with me when I ain't doing karate. He still trains with me today. He say,
Awesome.
yeah, still stone face, but when he do karate,
Everybody knows what that means already.
yeah. He don't play.
I like it.
But karate has, I have broke down barriers, and I tell everybody this. This is my saying with karate. Everything ever come to me good in life to been through karate. Although we know it's God's will. I met you.
Amen.
I met that brother right there. Everything good ever come to me comes through karate, and I'm blessed to recognize it. I got beautiful students. I met your lovely wife, the red belt girl. I told him, I try to let everybody know you ain't by yourself. When you in karate, it's a family.
Yes.
The little red belt, she getting ready to get a black belt.
Brenda.
I let her know, yeah, we don't know each other, but I'm going to be there because you're part of the family.
That's right.
And that's what we give to everybody. You know, April, I think her name was April.
Yes, sir.
It's eat me up that I couldn't come to the skating thing and something else the picnic basket, bring the basket.
Yeah.
I said, when I came, I said, I was there, but you can take this here.
There you go.
She tried, no, you take this here because that makes my heart feel better. You know, she wouldn't take, we good, we donate the next one. All right, next one I'm gonna donate, but right now, them the two I miss. Take that there. She said, oh, yeah, but that's how karate is. Okay. It makes you realize that it's good in the world and you could do good in the world. You could be right in the world. You don't have to do this.
This is true.
You know, but you chose upon yourself to do the good. This is gonna let everybody know that karate has some real good fighters, man. Some real good Grand Masters. Some guys that did it all in karate, you know. And like I was telling everybody, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. I think I was the first back then, it was the first guy to be in magazines. All of the karate, you know. And then Larry had trained me so good. I owe him so much. But he didn't teach, like I said, he didn't teach me how to fight. And but I got good. I tell everybody this in the dojo. I didn't get good training at a karate school at a dojo. I got good training at home from the things that I learned in the dojo. That's where I perfected my skill until I kicked one of my mother's lamps.
That'll do it.
Yeah, in the living room. She said, hey, can't train in there because we didn't have a basement.
Got it.
You know, so that's how I got good, training in my mother's living room. Okay. So you don't have to, you could come learn in the dojo, but you gotta train, you gotta train. You know, you gotta train. There's a beautiful brother, one of our Grand Masters, Cofield's students, really good guy. It's on Facebook, he was kicking. I said, you got some nice kicks, man. He said, yeah, I kick hard. I said, what you do? I said, okay. Well, kick me as hard as you can. And so he draw back. I think he's like 24. It's on Facebook. He draw back and he kicked me. Boom! And he looked. I said, you want to do it again? He said, yeah, I didn't have my foot set right.
Oh, right, okay,
right.
foot set.
I said, okay, kick me again. He kicked me again. Boom! Then I told her, I said, yeah, I got to train. I said, I'm 65 years old. Y'all got to train. If you don't train, you can't take the kick. I train every day. You got to train every day to make sure you could be able to take that kick.
I like it.
Because if you don't, when he kick you, he's going to break your arm.
It's over with.
It's over with, you know. Good. And so that's pretty much my history with karate.
Okay. Well, we're gonna wrap the show up. Again, this is Just Kicking It. Grand Master Ken Denson of Kids Karate Academy. And for those who are going to be on the show, we're looking forward to having you. And behind the scenes, those who can't see, Brother Demetrius back there, he set all this stuff up. He's the producer of the show. He's directing, telling us what to do, how to do it. but I'm gonna tell you, nothing can be done without him. Kind of remind me of a Russell Simmons. You know, Russell Simmons sits behind the scenes, and he don't never come out, right? He might wave his hand or something like that, but this brother back here is phenomenal. So this show is going to be aired. It'll be on YouTube. Our plan is to get enough to compile it to be able to put it on regular channels as a special, and then be able to do a documentary of martial artists. If you want copies of the show or something like that, you talk to Brother Dimitri. I want to thank you for coming on, being our first guest. There are many more guests to come. And again, before you leave, you'll make sure you get the producer's information so that if you want to talk with him about the show and get a copy of it, he'll work something out with you. But again, this is not about money, this show. He's doing it out of his heart. We're doing it out of our heart, but we want to bring something back to the Michigan community. And that is African martial arts, Michigan centered, right? And there's going to be folks from around the globe we're going to talk to, but we want to start at home. So I want to thank you for coming on the show again.
I'm honored.
And before you leave, any last words?
Uts.
Uts. And if you're a martial artist, you know what Uts is. Again, Olu Jabari, Ken Denson, Just Kicking It. Thank you. Have a good day.